One of the most important NURBS tools you're going to come across for the purposes of creating continuity from one piece to another are fillets. A fillet is mostly defined as like a piece of molding that connects one major surface to another. And really that's all it is here in Maya as well. It's pronounced fillet, it's not fillet, so please don't walk into SIGGRAPH, joking up with the guys going, man, I did this awesome freeform fillet in Maya. You're going to get laughed off the floor. So let's take a look at how we can create a few fillets and what they're good for. A fillet is going to be a surface, an intermediate surface, that will connect two other surfaces while maintaining tangency to the point it's connecting. Whoa, that sounds like a lot of things to keep track of, and it is. Because of that, actually you can only create fillets in between two surfaces. Well, for our purposes, we're only going to be using two surfaces anyways. And let's just go ahead and create one, a very simple one, just to show you how they're made and really how cool they can be. I'm going to select an isoparm. We need a curve on surface. This curve is going to tell Maya where the fillet will begin, and because we have a surface, because we have curves running in different directions to one another, it's also going to give Maya an idea of the tangency it needs to follow. Let's go ahead and grab another isoparm on this object. We'll go to Edit NURBS, Surface Fillet, and we'll do a freeform fillet. Boom. And look at that. Perfectly continuous, so nice continuity between the surfaces. It is a separate surface. It is its own thing. The spheres are still there completely, so nothing has been taken off the spheres. We just have this surface that connects between our two curves and matches the continuity of each surface. Because of this, you have to have curves on surface in order to use a freeform fillet operation. And I can move the spheres, and that continuity will do its best to keep track. If we go beyond a certain boundary limit, things get a little hectic, and understandably so. We can rotate and kind of put a little bit of twisting in there. So it's a very, very cool tool, and one that you'll be using probably quite a bit as you start creating more and more complex NURBS models. One of the most important types of fillets, however, is the the circular fillet. The circular fillet is a great way to create continuity between two objects that are more or less plugged into one another. And we'll be talking more about this tool later on in the tools videos, but I do kind of want to bring it up here and get you familiar with it, make sure you've seen it before. I'm going to create a NURBS plane, and we'll put some detail on it just so it looks a little more interesting in the viewport. And let's take a cylinder. Actually, let's not do a cylinder. Just for the fun of it, let's do a sphere. That'll be cooler. And we'll push this sphere right through the plane like so. Now, what if I wanted the sphere to... I want there's maybe some blending of some sort. I don't want this harsh change in direction. This is what the circular fillet is all about. It's going to take two surfaces and create an intermediate fillet surface to create a blend in between the two. All I need to do is select one surface, in this case the plane, then shift select my sphere. Now keep an eye on the order in which you select your surfaces. Remember this. Plane, then sphere. Go to Edit NURBS, Surface Fillet. We'll do a circular fillet. And boom, there you go. We end up with a surface that connects in between the two. Now it's got a little bit of gappage. This all comes down to NURBS tessellation. If we back up, you can't even really see any gappage. It just looks like we now have a little bubble coming out of a NURBS plane. Now if we take a look at the settings here, we have primary radius and secondary radius. Primary is how far out we want to go along our first surface, and secondary is how far we want to go along our second surface. So if I increase the primary radius to 2, see we're moving up the second surface, and there we go. So if I just increase both of those, our fillet gets larger, so you can play with those settings and make adjustments like so. Now, again, we're going to get deeper into the settings for this later on, but one of the things that you can do is you can adjust this by making some of your numbers negative. For example, if I were to make my secondary radius negative, notice now we are on the inside of the sphere. If instead I make the primary radius negative, we're now on the underside of the plane because we flipped around our primary, our first surface. So it's just a way for you to create nice blending in between the two surfaces. this is really all I wanted to discuss, was give you an idea of what fillets were and how they're useful to us. They're a great way to create an intermediate surface that has nice continuity to connect two surfaces together. And that'll wrap things up for this short little discussion. Thanks a lot.